Hey guys, welcome back. It's Neon. We're going to talk about Men in Black International, a movie like nobody wanted at all. Nobody wanted this movie, and unsurprisingly, it bombed at the box office this weekend. Big time, big time. It actually bombed harder than Dark Phoenix. Before we get started with the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It definitely helps us out. Alright, this is coming from We Got This Covered. Men in Black International bombs harder than Dark Phoenix at the box office. This should not surprise anyone. There was very, very little positive buzz at all about this movie. I don't think anybody wanted a Men in Black movie without Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, but this is what we got. And yeah, it did very, very poorly on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics did not like it. The audiences didn't want it. We had Tessa Thompson out there making comments that you know, the Men in Black should be forced to change their name because it's not inclusive enough to call them Men in Black. And maybe in films, upcoming films, that they're going to change the name from Men in Black to something else. I don't think we need to worry about that. I think this franchise is effectively dead. Alright, so this is coming from We Got This Covered. Dark Phoenix recently got a lot of attention for all the wrong reasons, as it earned the lowest opening weekend gross of any X-Men movie. It seemed like a cert that the Fox film would end up being the most infamous box office bomb of the summer. Then, but shockingly, another release has already come along to snatch its crown: Men in Black International. As per the Hollywood Reporter, MIB International only raked up $28.5 million in its first weekend. For comparison, Dark Phoenix debuted to $33 million. That's not a huge difference, but it does mean that what looked to be a promising reboot, it did. What looked to be a promising reboot of the sci-fi action comedy franchise has made even less of an impact than a superhero movie we've been expecting to bomb for months. The slight silver lining to MIB4's fate is that it's not the biggest loser of the weekend. Shaft opened to a tiny $8.3 million. I didn't even know they were doing another Shaft movie. I mean, the marketing people are failing these movies. Like, I didn't even know there was another Shaft movie. However, with a budget of only $30 to $35 million, it's not quite in the same league as these two $100+ million failures. Still, it's a surprise that the Samuel Jackson vehicle didn't draw a bigger crowd. Again, I didn't even know they were making another Shaft movie. I had no idea. So the marketing was not that great. As for Men in Black, we can presumably blame the disappointing gross on a mix of bad reviews and lackluster marketing. The film has been negatively compared to what's come before, with its Rotten Tomatoes score sitting at 27%, which likely put some folks off. Likewise, the promotional campaign hasn't been as strong as it could be, with Sony perhaps making the mistake of thinking the star power of Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson would do the job for them. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see a Men in Black without Will Smith at this point. And these two don't make up for Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Sorry, it looks like Ragnarok all over again. When it comes to Dark Phoenix, the fact that it's a flop hardly matters, as the X-Men will soon be rebooted by Disney. However, Men in Black International was clearly intended to be a bold restart to the franchise, and as such, it'll be interesting to see how Sony proceeds with the series now. They won't. I think this is a franchise killer. I think rebooting Men in Black without the stars that made the movie such a hit, it's over. It's over. Game over. The only way they could do this is if they did a complete reboot, waited a few years, or pulled a Ghostbusters 2016 and sort of stepped over this one and brought Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones or Josh Brolin back for a proper Men in Black 4. That's about the only way they can salvage this. At this point, like, nobody cares. Nobody really cares about Men in Black. You know, it was huge in the 90s. It was kind of the Ghostbusters of the 90s, and the second movie was pretty balls. I did like the third one. I was pleasantly surprised by the third one, but again, this isn't a franchise that people are like begging for another entry into, and it just the whole thing was really poorly conceived. Poorly conceived. Now, if you're expecting China to prop up Men in Black, because a lot of times what happens with these movies is they may not do very well in the US, but they do significantly better overseas. This happened with Alita, where Alita did okay. Over here, it didn't do great, but it did really, really well in China. That's not going to be the case for Men in Black. This is the Chinese box office. Men in Black International has a $26 million debut over there in Phoenix Dives. So here's how it's doing in China. The Chinese gross of Men in Black spinoff was not far short of the film's North American debut, which rang in at $28 million, but was only a modest improvement on the 2012 release of Men in Black 3, which opened in China at $21.7 million, going on to a total gross of $77 million. Considering the vast expansion of movie theaters in China in the past 7 years and the lack of competition from significant Chinese titles, Men in Black International should have played better. My Best Summer, which it sounds like a drama, comedy, I don't know, climbed the chart from 3rd place to 2nd, but saw its weekend gross drop 60%. Godzilla King of the Monsters had a steeper fall. It fell by 75% from $23.9 million in the 2nd weekend to $5.8 million in the 3rd. After 17 days in Chinese cinemas, Godzilla has a cumulative score of 124 million. Here's another one, Chinese drama here. X-Men Dark Phoenix has plummeted to Earth, having opened in the top spot a week earlier with 32.1 million. The film saw its 2nd weekend gross drop by 90% to 3.3 million. Good for only 5th place. After 10 days, it has a $55 million cumulative. In total, the weekend was worth only 61 million. The year-to-date total in China is down 2%. Screen Rant even says that it's time to put Men in Black on hiatus. I thought Men in Black was on hiatus. I don't think the public was really dying for another Men in Black movie. I really don't. So circling back to Men in Black International, it may be time for Sony to put this brand on ice and try to develop a new cash cow. With interest this low at the outset, it's highly unlikely the film will have any kind of legs in the US. Men in Black will need to get a significant boost from the international marketplace in order to become profitable, and we can see China doesn't give a shit. Historically, that's not an impossible feat to pull off, but Men in Black International is going to need more help than most if it's to be salvaged, and you've got Toy Story 4 and Spider-Man coming. So yeah, I don't think anybody cares. Nobody wanted this movie. I sort of eye-rolled when I saw that they were making another one. I'm like, why are they doing this, and why are they doing it without Will Smith? I understand maybe Tommy Lee Jones not coming on, but why would you make a Men in Black movie without Will Smith and try to reboot it with, the team from Thor Ragnarok? It didn't even sound good. It didn't even sound good on paper. Nobody wanted this movie, and you're not going to have to worry about Men in Black being retitled Persons in Black anytime soon, because I don't look for a sequel to get greenlit. I think this franchise is done for the time being. Big bomb. So anyway, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, rants, gaming videos, art videos, and more here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon. I will talk to you later. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.